That's what we might call a Class B answered prayer. It may or may not be, we just don't know. And let's face it, most of our answered prayers are Class B. And then fourth, you've got extreme answered prayer. Now look, anybody in here is a Christian, you know that, we pray, you could probably make a list of some answered prayers. I prayed before I flew down here from Atlanta yesterday, God get me there safely. Well, the fact that I arrived in Austin safely, was that an answered prayer? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe the plane was gonna have some problems and it didn't after all, I don't know. That's what we might call a Class B answered prayer. It may or may not be, we just don't know. And let's face it, most of our answered prayers are Class B. But if you've been a Christian for any lengthy period of time, I've been a Christian for 45 years. I'm 55, I became a Christian when I was 10. And I know you think, wow, he's 55? Some of you are thinking that right now, right? Well, I was at a university about 2 years ago, and this guy, one student, came up to me after my lecture, and he said, "You're 55?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Wow, you look so young on stage." You get close up, you see the crow's eyes and stuff, you say, "Oh yeah, he's 55. So it's like one guy said, "So how old are you now?" This was on my 47th birthday. I said, "Well, I'm 47. He says, "Wow, you don't look it." I said, "Well, thanks." He said, "You used to." So anyway, most of our prayers, sometimes there are Class A answered prayers. These are like extreme answered prayers, radically answered prayer. There's just too much there to think of them as just being coincidence. I could probably name about a handful of those that I've experienced over my 45 years of being Christian. Let me give you one though, and it's not for me, and there's a reason I'm going to give this for someone else. It's from an atheist, someone who is today an atheist. Someone who is an atheist today, but when this happened was a Christian. He told me, we were going in an email exchange. This was, I don't know, less than 10 years ago. And he said, "Yeah, resurrection, yeah, but I still don't buy it." And I said, "Well, there's miracles, there's answered prayers." "Yeah, I've been there, done that. You see, I used to be a Christian." And my dad was a deacon in a church, and we went to church, and we had this all-night prayer meeting. It was a small church, but we really needed money. And we had this all-night prayer meeting. Well, now I'm going to pick up with the email and quote him verbatim. "One time my church desperately needed $7,641 in order to keep going. After an all-night prayer meeting, my dad went to pick up the mail, and in it was a check for exactly $7,641 from someone who didn't even know the church needed the money, but had heard one of the pastors speak a few years ago. My dad contacted the giver, and she said that after she'd heard the pastor speak, she felt God wanted her to put some cash in an annuity and give it to our church. The process took several years, and just days before, she decided to close the account and send the accrued money to the church, and it happened to be the exact amount that was needed right after an all-night prayer meeting." Now, this is an atheist telling me this, and a few lines later, he writes this. Huh? Whoa. All right, so we got to start all over again. Well, thank you, and it's really great to be with you guys this afternoon. All right, here's what he said. "I looked as hard as I could, but finally I realized I had no good reasons to think God existed." Right after he told me about this answered prayer.